Well, politicians are agreed something needs to be done about vaping. According to a report in The Australian today, 90 million vapes are imported into the country every year, most of them laced with nicotine and marketed shamelessly to children. Now, the Morrison government legislated that you had to be 18 or older to purchase vapes, and then from a pharmacy with a doctor's prescription. Anyone who's got teenage kids knows how well that's working, and anyone who's spoken to a school teacher knows the number one behavioural issue in schools right now is children vaping. So federal and state politicians are trying to work out what to do. Do they tax vapes? Do they apply heavy-handed regulation, or do they ban them completely? Liz, I'm in favour of them doing all they can to stop this, and let me give you my reason why. According to the University of Melbourne, 97% of 14 to 17-year-olds have never smoked a cigarette. But all the research says that aside from being addictive and unhealthy, vapes are a gateway to cigarettes. In fact, the Australian National University reckons if you start vaping, you are 3 times more likely to smoke cigarettes. Cigarette smoking is the number one cause of premature death. Why would we want to do anything to encourage children to vape? Do everything they can to stamp it out.
But vaping is keeping them from smoking.
Indeed.
Before vaping arrived on the scene, kids were, much like they do with drinking prematurely. They do get their mitts on these things. And I don't know what to say to anyone who is naive enough to believe that this is really about the government caring about your health. Why then has it taken this long for them to do a single inquiry, which is what we're now seeing in Queensland? But vapes have been taking off for years now, and now that it's wildly popular, the government wants a piece of the pie. They want to be able to tax this. Just as they make billions of dollars off the tobacco industry, they want a piece of the pie with vapes. But who honestly believes this is about health?
Of course.
This is a government that allows all kinds of pesticides, herbicides, hormones in our meat. Oh, yeah, that's all about our health. For crying out loud, they just forced millions of people to take a vaccine still in trial phases.
All of which
yeah, that was really about our health. I mean, honestly,
I would say to all of that, who even cares? Who cares why they're taxing it? As long as they're making vaping increasingly difficult for children to do, then who cares?
That worked so well with smoking, which is still responsible for over 13% of our
tax
deaths
hikes
every
on
year,
things they
and
don't want people to do
over 8%
work.
of our disease burden. Can you imagine how much that is costing the taxpayer? And say what you will about vaping, we do know it is better than smoking. For years, we were
and we know that they're 3 times more likely to smoke if they vape.
But you're missing the point.
A few minutes ago, the government wanted us to have e-cigarettes instead, which are vaping, exactly vaping. There is literally no difference, because they avowedly swore it was far better than smoking. That was the whole point of it.
And the NHS...
What's the point of having laws if they're not enforced? You're supposed to
the problem is that we have too many laws and that they're enforced too harshly, and that's why you end up with this illegal market. In 2019, something like 20% of the tobacco consumed in this country was illicit tobacco, about 3,000 tonnes worth that gets imported into this country and sold illegally through small corner shops and this kind of thing. The reason for that is that we have such high tobacco excises in this country, amongst the highest in the world. So people who are addicted to cigarettes will buy the illegal product, and the government makes no money off that. And that annoys the living daylights out of the government, just as it annoys them.
So come back to the issue. What do we do about children vaping? Or do you just say, just give kids vapes and let them go for it?
No, but
so what do we do?
That's not the point. That is not the point.
That is the entire point.
No, I'm not arguing with the idea that you shouldn't sell vapes to kids. Sure, we should crack down on shops that sell vapes to kids.
Okay, so
that is clearly illegal, but it's already illegal. The idea that you have to go to a doctor to get a prescription to buy a vape is just absurd. And it's those things that lead to a strong illegal market because we make it so difficult for people to get their hands on it. In the UK, the NHS, which is the equivalent of our health department, actively encourages people to vape. They have on their website guides on how to vape and talk explicitly about how it is less dangerous than smoking. This isn't about stopping children from vaping. That's already illegal. What this is about is governments getting their hands on more of your money through tax.
Here.
There's no debate about that. Anyway,